Very good. Thank you, Wendy. And again, welcome to everyone. This is the sixth session on threat assessment. From the very first one, we talked about the threat assessment topology. This was a topology that we put together at Athens Group, based originally on the Deming-Shruhart Plan, Do, Check Act. And this is one model that we've seen across markets, across technologies, and across personnel throughout the world really works to understand how to address different types of threats. And we've used this continuously for several years now, and it really works well. And please feel free to take this and use this however you might see fit. Our first 5 sessions, we talked about planning, we talked about identifying threats, talked about the mitigation of them, how to detect them, how to respond. And in this session, this final wrap-up session, we're going to talk about the last 2 major blocks, the adjust and verify. Basically, we're evolving, and we want to evolve both the individual threat assessment that we're focused on. In our case, for the example of these sessions, was the Windows 95, but we also want to make sure that we evolve our process and basically keeping sets of questions we ask, understanding how do we rate them, and then how do we give ourselves a score? What our scorecard look like at the end of this? So our last session, the previous session, session 5, was the threat response, and here we focused on different effective responses. What can we do within the framework of the threats that we've identified and that we then want to mitigate? There's not an issue with doing some type of response. In fact, it's critical that you respond to these. Now, you may not decide to develop your own denial of service bots and go out and attack whoever attacked you if that was part of your threat and your cybersecurity you're addressing, but you want to be able to put an effective response in place. There are many things you can do. You're not wholly at the mercy of bad actors out on the internet. So when we looked at our threat mitigation response, we built the matrix. We looked at these 4 main threats, and as we narrowed them down back to our main threat, our number 1 threat's Microsoft. I think that's just, we just know that, and it's not because Microsoft in and of itself are all bad actors and sloppy. They have an enormous set of code. Just about everything, every system somewhere in the world uses a piece of Microsoft software somewhere. So because they're so ubiquitous, they're going to be the major area where we're going to have to make sure we understand the threats. Industrial control systems, we know that those are there. We decided to do some transferring and limiting. The COVID-19, we're all still enjoying that threat, and I think we will for quite a long period of time yet to go. And we've got our geographic area, the Far West Pacific. So when we looked at our responses and we looked at the pros and cons of what we've done, and again, this is critical. You get to the point of how do I respond, and then how do I now, as I look at the verification and adjustment, what were the pros and cons of what we did? So the organizational-wide personnel response, the pros, the 4 steps most effective for personnel targeted scams. It was comprehensive. It allowed for measured progress. The cons, basically, if you don't already have this in place, it really takes months to develop. So if you want to take away one lesson learned from these 6 sessions, is that if you want to have an organization-wide response, you need to start now. And you can't wait until you've identified a threat, because it's too late. You're going to have to put in place what you want to do as an organization. Technology response. The pros in a technology response are you're going to ensure that your technology is safe, and in our case, for the Windows 10, we're going to address Microsoft vulnerabilities, and we'll be able to address them specifically. The cons to this are we assume we have competent information technology, operational technology administration, and backup and restore is regularly executed. I can't emphasize enough that one of your major areas to protect yourself is to have good backups and then be able to restore them. Good backup means that you've tested it, you've made sure there's no viruses on it, because if you have a ransomware attack and the ransomware takes all your backups, you're out of luck. So you need to have them stored away somewhere. You've got to make sure they're clean of all viruses and they're ready to go. So that's one of the real critical areas. Existing insurance. You want to make sure you already have something in place, and this is real insurance. This is insurance from your insurance company. Almost everyone already has that in place to some extent, and the issue is going to be one of you have to make sure, because it probably doesn't cover pandemics. Pandemics, in our case, what we've seen is they're really an act of God. So your business insurance isn't going to cover it because you've got a force majeure clause somewhere in your insurance. Purchasing new insurance, what you get with that is you get the latest coverage. The cons on buying new insurance at this point in time is it's going to be extremely expensive. One of the things that had been evolving over the last several years is the idea of cybersecurity insurance. And you want to check if you think you have cybersecurity insurance. If you've got a policy that says cybersecurity insurance on it, you probably do, but you want to make sure you read the fine print that's on the back of that policy or somewhere on the PDF of the policy that says exactly what is covered. What we've seen is that in a lot of our new coverage, especially in the last 18 months, is that the coverage has specifically called out no overall cybersecurity or cybersecurity type of insurance. And what we've had to do is we've actually had to go in and buy specific riders and lay out the areas where that's going to be covered. Some type of cost sharing with your clients. We do cost sharing with our clients, especially in the COVID-19 area, where we cost share the quarantine, cost of quarantining. We got to put somebody up. They're going to travel offshore. They have to wait 14 days in some facility, and our clients are willing to pay the extra travel costs to do that. You have to be careful that as you approach them, unless it's really something mission critical, they may decide that they just cost too much and they're not going to do it at all. Nation state evacuation, again, that's safe, secure transportation. It's usually a military group that's going to be doing it, but it can be extremely expensive, which is what we've seen in the area of having to get out of either China or...
Hi there, hope you enjoyed that last clip. My name is Michael Maludis, and if you'd like to watch the full 60 minutes of that last webcast, while also gaining complete unlimited access to our entire library of IT learning, simply visit our subscribe page at greatpro.org/subscribe. Unlimited annual access is $199 per year, but if you use the coupon code LEARN2EARN, you can drop that membership fee to just $149. That's less than $13 per month for unlimited access to over 1,000 hours of on-demand career development, covering the entire spectrum of IT management best practices, including business analysis and requirements, software development, quality and testing, risk management, process improvement, project management, and even digital transformation. But your membership doesn't just give you unlimited access to our vast learning library. You also get free access to our mobile app, as well as direct access to our network of over 300 of the world's leading IT consultants, all of whom are dedicated to putting practical knowledge at your fingertips so that you can learn more and earn more. I hope you will join me in becoming a member of the Great IT Professional and advancing your career with us. And if you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit that subscribe button above so that you get notified whenever we publish new free webcasts each week of the year. Thank you for your time and best wishes for your continued success.